Hi, everyone, and welcome to the marketing series. In today's episode, Tony and I are going to talk about why leads ghost. Why does ghosting happen? What is ghosting? How do I prevent it?
Ghosting is when somebody will go on your website and they'll submit a form, and then you reply back or give that person information, and then nothing.
You are communicating with a lead and suddenly they stop responding.
A lot of people ask that question all the time. Hey, I don't understand. What did I do wrong? Did I piss someone off? I would say 99% of the time, you didn't do anything wrong. It's just that, in today's world with, spam, okay, all your email providers and things like that are so conscious of that if an email comes from a company, right, or somebody that maybe is not in someone's contact list or things like that, automatically it filters through and they send it to spam or they send it into their junk. Right. So like majority of the time it's not because they don't want to respond to you. They just don't get they just don't get your email. And how often do you check your junk or spam folder?
Never. I usually
just
delete it.
Yeah, you don't.
The only time that I do is when someone says, I sent that to you. Did you get it? Then I'm like, okay, let me go check and dig for this.
But most people are just going to sit there and like, well, the heck with them. They don't even care to reply back to me. Right. Mm-hmm. So that's usually the majority of the issues. Right. So now the question becomes like, how do you fix that? How do you overcome that? Okay. Because again, if all you get is an email, you can't. Mm-hmm. Because if you follow up or you send another email, it's just going to end up in the same spot.
Yeah.
Right. So, yeah. So what we recommend with both our clients or you guys in general is ask for a number. At least this way, what you could do is, if you can call them back or follow up with them the next day, just, say, hey, just wanted to make sure you got our pricing. You don't overdo it, or you can text them or whatever it happens to be. The majority of the time, that solves the problem, right? And if they say, no, I didn't, you can ask, check your spam folder. Okay. Mm-hmm. And there it is. And then, you can ask them, hey, can you do me a favor, or do yourself a favor? Can you save my contact and your email? So this way, if we need to kind of correspond a little more, that won't happen again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that eliminates half your problem, right? So
it also opens the opportunity for a texting conversation. Like you're now communicating with that lead.
Anytime somebody, submitted a form, I would get notified, right? And usually what I would do is, there's like someone I would respond back and say, hey, thank you so much, blah, blah, blah. I wanted to share our pricing list, right? But immediately right after that, depending on the time, obviously, right, I would text that person because very early I said, I got to get these people's numbers, for the ghosting reason. And I would just text them and say, hey, just wanted to make sure you got the information. And, oh, yeah, absolutely. Or no, I didn't. And then I would be able to solve that, right? So, in the world that it happens a lot, I started introducing automation because, again, I wanted that to automatically happen. Right, because a lot of people work weird hours, or that's the only time they could do research. Right, like, yeah, and they're like, oh, well, cool. I just got a response automatically back from the company saying, hey, thank you for your information. We just sent you over our pricing. Please check your spam if you don't see it. And there it is. They're happy. They got the information. But like that is something very simple that that's super easily fixed, right? Whether you do it manually or you get some kind of automation tool, right? I mean, all our clients, we recommend, hey, listen, get your cell number, get your texting, chat widget on your thing, and that will eliminate, and it eliminates over 90%. People that were kind of saying 50% of my leads ghost, that's all gone. From that standpoint.
Another reason ghosting could happen is, you're talking about, there's also like poor timing, right? There's also like unmet expectations that people have. You didn't meet my expectation for what I wanted. So I have a hard time saying, no, I'm not going to respond. I'm just going to leave it alone. And then there's like the information, right? So if you're communicating with someone and they've asked you one question, hey, send me your pricing. Like, how are you responding to that, right? So like a lot of people are like, here's the pricing.
Yeah.
And that's it.
It's the old closed statement. Like, hey, Nicole, what color is the sky?
It's blue.
Cool. Done. Conversation's over. But if I say, hey, Nicole, what color is the sky?
Well, today I think it's blue. What does it look like on your end?
Bingo. Now I have to respond. Mm-hmm. See, that's the difference. If you just answer their question and you don't ask that follow-up question, that is a a reason why people won't, right? It's like, hey, there's no reason to respond because you answered my question. Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Yeah, there's no continued question.
No, so again, just again, super simple thing. Check your replies, right? See what how you're replying back with that.
The other one is replying with overload and overwhelm, right? Like your response is so much, I'm overwhelmed. You've given me too much information that I'm closing now, and I'll get back to you when I have time to process, and then I never have time.
I see that a lot, right? So somebody will send me something, right? And again, like in sales, there's this thing called like where you kind of mirror the individual, and I think salespeople understand that, right? Where if someone's super excited, right, you don't want to be this like, okay, like you're not excited for them, right? Because like, well, this guy's like, but you want to kind of like mirror their energy, right? So that way you guys are on the same page. It's the same thing with how you communicate with people too, right? Yeah. So I know it's harder in email, right? But going back to your point, is if I write 2-3 sentences, right, I should reply in the same manner that they wrote to me. So, ways of kind of getting over that is kind of just like, taking their email, copying it over again, and just kind of, below it, kind of say, here's how I'm answering your questions. Like, this is the question you asked. This is how they appreciate that.
Yeah.
Because you do need to talk the same way your potential customer, talks.
And now that I understand that a little bit, let's talk about some more ways to prevent ghosting. Obviously, we've talked about collecting their phone number so that when you send the email, you can say, hey, I sent you that email. Just make sure, did it go to spam, or let me know if you don't see it, that kind of stuff. Is there anything else we can be doing to prevent ghosting?
When you do respond, right, make sure you guys respond, always with a question, right? Mimicking what they're writing, their writing style and things like that. But yeah, that's definitely the world of ghosting.
Perfect. Let's talk about some action items.
Easiest thing, it's free, right? Is just to take your form right now on your website and include a number. Easiest thing. If you already asked for that, just respond, send the email out, whatever information, and text them and just say, hey, just wanted to make sure you got that. This is Tony from wherever. I just wanted to make sure you got that. That's the easiest thing.
There are tools that can help with your follow-up.
Yep. If you wanted to get a little bit more into automation, again, like we have, those tools that we can install on your site, they're fairly inexpensive, right? But again, there's other things too. No matter what time it is in the day, they're going to get a response and also a follow-up text just to make sure that they received it. So look at how you're responding to your emails.
Do you have an automated email that's like super long? You might want to reassess that.
Listen, right? Okay. Here's what I always tell people to do. I am sure, right, there is 10 common things that people kind of like ask all the time, right? So, use a Word document or your notepad or whatever you use, or your phone, right? And just predetermine what that is, right? So when someone says this is what I'm going to respond, and this is the question that I'm going to ask. If you do these things, guess what? You'll get less ghosting, you'll get more leads, and you'll make more money because you're booking more business. So, which is always a positive thing.
Absolutely.
Right? Little simple things that go a long way. So,
subscribe to our channel so you can get notified on our next video, and we look forward to seeing you again.